Puck column called Jones an erratic screamer and reported on a client exodus that included Dwayne Johnson and Lawrence Sanchez.
Blake Lively and Stephanie Jones have apparently crossed a line so big that even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson seems fed up.
Jones was called an erratic screamer, and she completely lost it when Dwayne Johnson and Lawrence Sanchez left as clients.
Rumors are swirling about a chaotic power struggle gone off the rails, and it all centers on the newest legal firestorm blazing through Hollywood.
In addition to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Lawrence Sanchez, Jeff Bezos, Julianne Hough, and country singer Lainey Wilson and Chris Hemsworth.
Insiders claim that Justin Baldoni has finally had enough and is hitting back with a lawsuit aimed straight at PR queen Stephanie Jones. The alleged spark? Confidential info about Justin passed straight into the hands of Blake Lively, igniting a meltdown that's dragged everyone from movie execs to major stars into the crosshairs.
This is organized coercion against clients like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jeff Bezos, Lawrence Sanchez, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Brady, Scooter Braun, and more, who simply hired a publicist they thought would honor confidentiality in contracts.
If that weren't wild enough, whispers say The Rock is absolutely furious over how this fiasco could tarnish anyone linked to Stephanie and her rumored do anything to win approach. And that's just the opening act. Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
I was actually surprised to get this news. Justin Baldoni sues his former publicist, Stephanie Jones, alleging she maliciously leaked texts that sparked legal battle with Blake Lively.
We're talking about serious allegations that Stephanie Jones, a once revered publicist, has been leaking private data in an underhanded attempt to manipulate press coverage for her own advantage, and to cozy up to Hollywood big shots like Blake Lively.
Jones represented Justin Baldoni in his Wayfair Studios last summer when press reports first emerged of a rift between the director and Lively.
Why does The Rock care? Some say his brand was put at risk the moment Stephanie started rummaging through phone records, snagging secrets, and passing them on to the biggest names in Tinseltown. This meltdown has escalated so dramatically that it's now threatening the reputations of nearly everyone who's ever counted on Stephanie for discreet PR. And allegedly, she isn't the least bit sorry about it. In fact, rumor has it she was playing both sides, fully aware she'd be shredding the trust of her own clients, including Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios.
It is undeniable that Stephanie Jones initiated this catastrophic sequence of events by violating the most basic of privacy rights, as well as any remaining trust her clients held.
But how in the world did we get here? According to insiders, a few short months ago, Justin Baldoni was still knee-deep in building hype for his latest project, until the production started attracting some odd publicity. Next thing anyone knew, Stephanie Jones was stepping in, or barging in, depending on who you ask, offering her signature crisis management moves to handle potential blowback. Then, out of nowhere, everything spiraled.
Brian Friedman brings up a really good point about privacy rights, and it's like, who's ever going to want to work with her again? This is so wrong.
Now Justin has slapped Stephanie with a bombshell lawsuit, claiming her help was actually a cover for something far darker, funneling intel to Blake Lively, who allegedly used it to gain the upper hand and sabotage Justin's entire image. Even more shocking, The Rock may have been drawn into this mess purely by association, since Stephanie had once boasted about working with him too. He might not be the direct target here, but rumor has it he's livid at the thought of his name getting dragged through the mud in a scandal he had zero interest in participating in.
Publicist Jennifer Abel files a countersuit against her old boss Stephanie Jones.
People close to the situation say that everything really took a turn when certain private messages started popping up. Messages that were supposed to stay buried in a locked vault of confidentiality. Allegedly, Stephanie was so desperate to stay relevant in top-tier celebrity circles that she seized an opportunity, scouring an employee's phone for juicy tidbits about Justin Baldoni and his inner circle, then passing those tidbits around town to strategic players, one of whom was rumored to be Blake Lively's publicist. The idea? Gain favor with A-listers, even if it meant torching the trust of her existing clients.
As for Leslie Sloan, Blake's publicist, she tried to get herself removed from Baldoni's lawsuit, saying that naming her was just a distraction from the very serious allegations of sexual harassment.
If you're picturing top-secret info changing hands faster than scripts at a Hollywood party, you wouldn't be far off. Justin Baldoni, for his part, seems done playing Mr. Nice Guy. His lawsuit reportedly outlines how Stephanie was hired to keep the peace and handle communications in a professional manner, only to betray him in the most humiliating fashion. Talk is that Justin's entire film rollout was overshadowed by sabotage, with negative gossip swirling around his interactions with cast members. In the background, The Rock was allegedly catching wind of all this scheming.
Now, according to Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, there wouldn't have been any lawsuits if it wasn't for Stephanie Jones.
After all, Stephanie was part of his PR orbit at one time, and if you believe the Hollywood grapevine, he was none too pleased to see his name lumped in with seriously shady tactics. While details remain murky, fans and critics alike are perched at the edge of their seats, waiting to see if The Rock will issue his own scorching statement or if he's going to let the legal system handle the heavy lifting. Yet the real earthquake started rumbling when a certain confidentiality clause was tossed onto the table. According to sources, Stephanie Jones had signed an ironclad agreement stating she would safeguard private details about Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and basically anything gleaned from their partnership. In return, she was paid handsomely. But after this meltdown, people are pointing to text messages, emails, and a suspicious handover of phone data, allegedly orchestrated by Stephanie herself. Word is, she seized a phone from one of her top employees, someone who had been on great terms with Justin and had access to behind-the-scenes discussions, then rummaged through every conversation, screenshot, and tidbit. Within hours, sensitive info allegedly found its way into the possession of Blake Lively's team. Suddenly, new rumors about Justin started cropping up, fueling a PR inferno that threatened to devour the entire film rollout.
As you might remember, the New York Times article that was published, very biased Blake Lively, back in December, all the evidence that was in that article came from Jennifer Abel's phone.
The meltdown only got more intense once Justin's partners realized that what they dismissed as Stephanie just being Stephanie was so much more sinister. They began digging, allegedly discovering that some half-baked stories about Justin's private life were being shopped around to tabloids, timed perfectly to coincide with crucial events for the film's promotion. Some watchers suspect that was a strategic move to isolate Justin from other big names in the project. Others claim it was pure revenge for the times Stephanie felt overshadowed by bigger fish, including The Rock. Either way, the final straw was seeing indisputable evidence, or so Justin's team claims, that Stephanie had broken her confidentiality vow in an effort to curry favor with rival PR networks and high-profile celebrities.
But then Stephanie Jones decided not to give it back to her, so she never received her phone back.
Hollywood is a small town, and ironically, folks are saying Stephanie may have gambled on the idea that Justin was too busy or too naive to push back. She bet wrong. Behind the scenes, the tension apparently skyrocketed when The Rock caught whiff of the fiasco. People in his camp are rumored to be furious at how easily his name got tied to potential Hollywood mafia tactics, especially since he has publicly cultivated an image of integrity and authenticity. Sources claim The Rock wants no part of it, and if it's proven that Stephanie used his affiliation to give herself some twisted credibility while playing both sides, we may see a harsh statement from him sooner rather than later. Some say he's letting the legal ball roll, but others whisper he's more than ready to defend his brand if any direct accusations surface. Meanwhile, Justin's legal action is shaping up to be a scorching page-turner. His lawsuit allegedly details how, for months, he and his team tried to quell rumors about behind-the-scenes drama on set, especially tensions with Blake Lively. They even brought in a crisis PR specialist to smooth things over. But the more they tried to fix the situation, the more it spiraled out of control. By the time they realized Stephanie Jones was fueling the fire instead of putting it out, it was too late. The meltdown was unstoppable. Suddenly, well-respected studios, top-tier attorneys, and PR gurus were all roped into an ever-expanding scandal that put Justin and his project under a harsh spotlight.
News elsewhere. Totally cool. But I don't know if you saw this. We're diving in. The latest lawsuit portrays Jones as growing increasingly paranoid and rattled by negative press about her in outlets like Puck and Business Insider.
One minute, people were talking about script rewrites and filming schedules, and the next, they were whispering about rumors that Justin had made uncomfortable remarks or was dealing with a secret vendetta. He's vehemently denied any wrongdoing and is convinced that these stories are part of a tactical smear campaign orchestrated by Lively's team, courtesy of Stephanie's big mouth. Adding fuel to the blaze, speculation says that while The Rock might not be the direct victim in this fiasco, he's not thrilled about the possibility of losing trust among fans because of a PR rep's shady conduct. When Stephanie's meltdown began, she apparently tried doubling down on her longtime big-name connections, including bragging about her ties to big Hollywood players. The Rock's brand has always banked on reliability, a humble background, and a track record of unstoppable success. The last thing he wants, rumor suggests, is to be dragged into a scandal where private info is used as ammunition to sabotage unsuspecting people.
If she's fluent in sarcasm, she knows that that upside down emoji means this is sarcasm.
Observers are waiting for him to step in, but so far he's been tight-lipped, letting the swirling allegations speak for themselves. Stephanie, though, didn't slip quietly into the night. Insiders allege she fired an employee who had close ties to Justin's camp, seized that person's phone on the spot, and rummaged through everything. Hours later, a wave of new info started popping up in the hands of certain journalists who seemed all too eager to run with half-verified claims. Then, around the same time, text messages surfaced that indicated some effort to bury Justin under damaging rumors about personal interactions. The puzzle pieces fit together a little too conveniently, fueling the suspicion that Stephanie was orchestrating the entire fiasco for maximum impact, possibly as vengeance for not being recognized as the go-to PR mastermind. The mere whiff of The Rock's frustration was enough to send additional shockwaves.
Apparently, she was acting very threatening to Justin Baldoni and his entire team.
Because if The Rock's had enough, well, that might prompt other top-level clients and studios to reevaluate any association with Stephanie as well. As Justin's lawsuit makes clear, the repercussions are bigger than just one film. People are calling this an existential crisis for Stephanie Jones's entire PR empire. In Hollywood, trust is currency. If a publicist is suspected of feeding privileged information to the highest bidder or to strategic enemies, that's practically the kiss of death. There's even talk that Stephanie's other high-profile clients, some rumored to be just as famous as The Rock, are now reevaluating their contracts. After all, the entire basis of PR work is confidentiality. Who wants to risk their personal or professional secrets winding up in the hands of some rival? The ramifications might extend to studio deals, brand partnerships, and even personal relationships among top stars. Of course, we have to stress that all these claims against Stephanie Jones remain allegations.
It also says in the lawsuit that as a result of Jones' malicious scheme, Abel's life has been turned upside down.
Legally, she hasn't been found guilty of anything yet. She might argue that any data she handed off was required by law or that she was complying with a subpoena, though rumor has it the official paperwork tells a different story, one that never mentions a subpoena. Whether you believe she was cunningly playing both sides or genuinely forced into an impossible position, the fact is that Justin Baldoni's lawsuit shows just how high the stakes are. When an actor invests blood, sweat, and tears into a project, and a fortune in PR to shape its public image, the last thing they need is sabotage from the inside. As for Blake Lively, she's no stranger to headlines. But this time, the gossip suggests she bit off more drama than she bargained for.
Looks like she has a history of taking people down that try to out her.
The hush-hush chatter is that she and her team might have welcomed Stephanie's secret intel on Justin, aiming to keep him in check or push him out of the spotlight. Did they step too far, feeding the rumor mill with stories that painted Justin as difficult or out of control? We may never know the full truth. Hollywood is a swirling soup of half-truths, spin, and official statements that raise more questions than they answer. Still, industry watchers suspect Lively may try to distance herself from the fiasco soon, especially if the lawsuit ramps up. Publicly, she might remain quiet, but insiders say she's bracing for blowback if it's proven that her team used ill-gotten details to undermine Justin's credibility. And what about The Rock? The man famously known for laying the smackdown is rumored to be absolutely livid at the idea that Stephanie Jones could have waved his name around like a golden ticket while she played fast and loose with confidentiality. People around him claim he's a big believer in loyalty and has no patience for petty Hollywood schemes. If that's the case, Stephanie's days of bragging about her rock-solid connections might be coming to a swift end. There's talk of him quietly consulting legal experts to see if there's a path for him to separate from Stephanie's fiasco entirely, ensuring his brand remains untarnished. But no official statement has dropped, yet Hollywood's collectively holding its breath to see if these lawsuits and countersuits will open up an even bigger can of worms. Could more celebrities once enamored by Stephanie's brass knuckle tactics come forward to reveal their own nightmares? Some suspect this lawsuit might snowball, exposing how certain PR gurus manipulate tabloid narratives for personal gain, turning alleged fiascos into opportunities to climb the Tinseltown ladder. One slip in Hollywood is all it takes to shatter a reputation, and it looks like Stephanie may have orchestrated a dozen slips just to watch them fall like dominoes. Still, let's not pretend Justin Baldoni is walking away unscathed. The PR damage is done. He's now fighting to prove that a swirl of negative press about him, whispered claims, shady rumors, and purported personal comments was artificially manufactured by a PR strategist who lost loyalty somewhere along the line. If the court sides with Justin, we might see a monumental judgment against Stephanie. If the court doesn't, then we're left with a questionable blueprint for how easy it is to pass private info around Hollywood's rumor circuit without consequence. One last shocker is how Wayfair Studios, roped in by association with Justin's work, might suffer from the meltdown. Investors get skittish when scandal overshadows the actual film they're trying to promote. And a nasty legal war with an A-list actress, Blake Lively, plus a shady PR meltdown doesn't exactly scream box office success. People are already speculating about production deals quietly disappearing, big hitter sponsors stepping back, and entire film slates getting delayed. Meanwhile, The Rock presumably wants zero involvement in such chaos. If rumors that he's quietly furious are true, that fury could cost more than just a few headlines. It could reshape who works together in the future. Where do we go from here? Justin's lawsuit is public record now, and everyone's eager to see how Stephanie Jones responds. Does she have a bombshell defense? Will The Rock clap back publicly if more details emerge about how deeply she might have entangled him in her alleged plot? And what about Blake Lively? Does she double down on any claims against Justin, or distance herself as if she had nothing to do with these leaks? The scandal is still unfolding, and each day brings new revelations that make the drama even juicier. By the end of this madness, one thing's for sure. Hollywood's going to be talking about the time Stephanie Jones allegedly snatched someone's phone, served up secrets to Blake Lively, and infuriated The Rock for a long, long time. As for Justin Baldoni, he's made his move, choosing to battle it out in court. We can only watch to see which side emerges victorious in this thunderous standoff. A standoff that could redefine how celebrities trust or refuse to trust even their most loyal insiders. One misstep, one leaked text, and your entire empire can go down in flames. Until the dust settles, keep those eyes peeled for any new statements from The Rock, any legal clapbacks from Stephanie Jones, or any sudden moves from Blake Lively's camp. And remember, in Tinseltown, rumors run wild, but lawsuits leave a paper trail. Buckle up, because this showdown is far from over.